Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to model the distributive property with arrays to decompose units as a strategy to multiply. We have a problem down below, and this is basically the application problem that we did for lesson 10. This time, we're going to solve this problem using an array and distributive property. It says, a guitar has 6 strings. How many strings are there on 3 guitars? Write a multiplication equation to solve. Now, since boys and girls, we are going to practice distributive property with arrays, we can use to organize our numbers with arrays. So, one guitar has 6 strings. That means this guitar has 6 strings, just like what I showed you earlier. So why don't we draw one box for each string? So now it's going to be easier for us to decompose. When you say decompose, we break it down to friendly numbers. What are our friendly numbers? Friendly numbers are numbers that you can skip count easily, like 1, 2, 5, or 10. So now here, since we have 3 rows because of the first guitar, second guitar, and the third guitar, we can decompose this by drawing the line in between the second and the third guitar on this array. Okay, now let's take a look. How many rows do we have on the first smaller array? We have 2. And how many strings are there in one guitar? And of course, we have 6. So we are going to write this as 2 rows of 6, or 2 6s. And that 2 6s will be written as 2 times 6 equals blank. Now let's put that in parentheses because we are going to model the distributive property today. Now let's take a look. On the third guitar, we only have 1 row of 6. So we write this down as 1 6. And we can write our number sentence for this as 1 times 6 equals blank. Now it's time for us to get the total because it says how many strings are there on 3 guitars. So what is 2 times 6? You skip count by 6. We have 6, 12. So the answer here is 12, and the other one is too easy. 1 times 6 is 6. So now that we have the totals of the 2 arrays that we came up with when we broke it down, we can now write our multiplication equation to solve. Now we can put the number sentences together by adding. Remember the strategy that we did yesterday about adding? So this is basically 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 groups of how many in each row? 6 is equal to 2 times 6 plus 1 times 6. And we can say that it's true because 3 times 6 is 6, 12, 18. Let's see if this is going to be equal to 18. 2 times 6 is 12. And 1 times 6 is 6, so add that. Is 12 plus 6 18? Definitely it is. So this is our distributive property equation for this problem. Alright, boys and girls, now let's move on to the next problem. And this is very similar to your problem set, so pay attention. We have 8 times 2, and then as you can see, we have the hearts in array to model the 8 rows of 2. And as you can see, boys and girls, we are breaking it down into 2 smaller arrays. We decompose that. Let's count how many rows are there. We have 4 rows of 2. That's why we can write 4 rows of 2 here. Now, what is 4 times 2? Skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8. And the answer here is 8. Now, as you can see, this is similar to the array on top. It's just the hearts are not shaded. So let's just write the number of rows, which is 4. And the answer, of course, is 8. And basically, it's the same. 4 times 2 equals 8. Now, let's take a look at the number sentences down below. 4 times 2 plus 4 times 2 is equal to 8 plus 8. And this 8 plus 8 came from the total of each array. And now we can say that 8 plus 8 is 16. Let's take a look at the distributive property here. Now, since we combine that, the number of hearts did not change. It's just the number of rows will change here because we are going to add these two, and it's going to be 8. Is 8 times 2 16? Yes, it is. So let's write that down over here. Okay, the next problem that I'm going to show you is word problem. So we can apply the skill of distributive property with arrays to decompose units as a strategy to multiply. It says here, Adriana organizes her books on shelves. She puts 3 books in each row. So as you can see, she's using a shelf or shelves. And in each row, she puts 3 books. Okay, it says here, fill in the equations on the right. Use them to draw arrays that show the books on Adriana's top and bottom shelves. As you can see, boys and girls, we have the number of groups we don't know, but then we know how many books are there, so that's our size, and we also have our total. So this one is pretty easy if you visualize it, okay? It says 3, that means 3 books in each row, and we need to have 15. So why don't we start drawing a box for each book? So that's going to be 3 in each row. So this is my first row, but I need to have 15. So that means I need to keep drawing the boxes until I reach 15. So now that we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, now we have the correct total here. But how many rows do we have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 rows of 3 on the first array. Now, let's take a look at the bottom. It says I should only have 3 books here. And of course, we have 3 books in a row. So why don't we just draw that 3 books? And voila, of course, we only have 1 row for this one. Okay, now let's continue. Adriana calculates the total number of books. When you say calculate, basically this is when you compute or solve the total number of books as shown below. Use the array you drew to help explain Adriana's calculation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the array. I have 6 rows. I'm just going to start with my 6 rows here and then copy in the 3 books in a row. And this actually matched this number sentence because this is 6 and we have 3 books in a row. How will it become 15 plus 3? And boys and girls, this 15 is right here and 3 is right here. And if you put it together, you add it, it's going to be 18. And that is this total right here. So basically, what we did here is we broke it apart by getting 5 rows first. And this is your 15 books. And this is going to be your 3 books. And when you put it together like a number bond, you add it, it's going to be 18. and that is the total number of books that Adriana put on the shelves.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you learned something new today. Always remember, work hard, give your best, and have your great focus. Bye!